Darron Anderson, CEO of Express Energy. Would you please come forward?
Very much. Well, after that introduction, I'm going to live up to what my sister expects here. Before I get started, I just want to express my sincere gratitude to you all here today. The hospitality you've shown me since arriving this morning, the gentleman I had lunch with today, I've had an amazing time thus far, and I want to thank you so much for inviting me to your fine university. I will be the first to tell you I am not an expert on leadership, okay? What I'm going to talk about today is some of my personal experiences. Experiences in leading my company, the strategic planning that we've gone through. So, we've had other fine leaders, instructors this morning, people leading sessions, and did a very good job from a technical standpoint. I probably can't do that, but I can give you a real-world experience of what our company's doing. Now, I know it is Saturday afternoon, and I was told to keep this to 30 minutes, so I'll be brief. So I will try to keep it to about 4 or 5 hours and get you out of here. With that being said, I think it's important for you to know who I am. Again, I'm Darron Anderson, President, CEO, and Chairman of the U.S. Oilfield Service Company. I have 22 years of oil and gas experience, 17 of those years in leadership positions. I did not know that we had such a strong University of Texas connection before arriving here today, but I found out from several faculty members. I received a degree in petroleum engineering from the University of Texas and went to work for Chevron right out of school. I have been married to the same woman for 19 years, who I would be the first to admit I am not the leader in my house. But I'm a good follower. Together we have 2 wonderful children, a son in university and a daughter who's 11 years old. My sister here, total of 5 siblings, all sisters, and I'm the only boy, and the youngest. So that is who I am. I think it's important for you to know my background and me as an individual. So I'd like to talk about on leadership and strategic planning for achieving extraordinary results. I think there's 2 parts to this conversation. I want to address the first part, which is leadership. A leader. Many people are designated as leaders. Head of university, a manager, principal, chief, director, a supervisor. If you have 2, 3, 4 people under your control, by default, you're inherently a leader. Now, there are good leaders, there are mediocre leaders, and there are bad leaders. And I've worked around many leaders in my 22 years in the oil and gas industry. But I want to focus on the exceptional leaders. In my years, I've noticed common traits amongst exceptional leaders. One is they're knowledgeable in their area of responsibility. If I came to this university today to talk to you, and tomorrow decided that I wanted to be the new president, Haven't done. But I've never worked in the academic field. I've worked in the business world. How effective could I be as a leader to the people I'm trying to lead? So, for me, one of the important attributes is to be knowledgeable in your area of responsibility. Another area is being an effective communicator. Now, I didn't just say a good communicator or be able to communicate. I'm using the key word effective. And the reason I say effective is because communication goes two ways. There is the ability to stand up in front of a crowd and talk and give you information and deliver information. But an effective leader has the ability to listen to his audience, to listen to the people he's leading, to get their feedback. There has to be two-way communication. And some of the best leaders I've worked around have the ability to communicate their message, but also receive feedback. Receiving feedback is very important. You have to know if what you're trying to communicate has been received. And if you never stop to listen or to ask a question, you never know if the person listening to you actually understood your message. So to be a good leader, a common trait that I've seen is being an effective communicator. Next, earns respect. Another one that's very important to me. Sometimes by default, the position you hold, people believe they should get respect. Now, respect comes to the position a lot of times. So if I were the President of the United States, which I'm not, and holding that position, okay, the position of President commands a level of respect. But if I'm the President of the United States, and I yell at my people, and I scream at my people, I don't listen to my people, they won't respect me as an individual. So leaders, good leaders I've seen, earn respect from their people. How do they earn that respect? They respect them. In dealing with them, they respect them as well. In addition, they do what they say they're going to do. So if I'm talking with my employees and I make a commitment to do something, I should do it. I better do it. Because when I do it, they trust me. And if they trust me, I earn their respect. And finally, a passion to lead people. Now, you don't have to have strong passion, okay? There are many leaders out there who don't have strong passion, okay? But the better leaders I've seen, the excellent leaders have a passion for leading people. If you're in a leadership position and the last thing you want to do is talk to people or talk to your people, you're probably not going to be an excellent leader. So, excellent leaders, in my opinion, do more than just hold a title. I want to focus now on the second part. First part, try to define leaders, leadership, what I think an excellent leader is. Now I want to focus on the second part, which is strategic planning for achieving extraordinary results. Now, I will forewarn you, these next few slides get a little mechanical, okay? But please be patient with me, because I'm going to try to tell you a story along the way. So, again, please be patient with me as we walk through the next few slides. Elements of my strategic plan. Again, maybe I'll just stand here. I'm just going to share you the way that we conducted it at our company. I'm not saying this is the best. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm surely not saying it's the only one, but this is the one that we're having success with. So please understand, this is just one way. Elements to a strategic plan, and we're going to cover each of these in detail. Having a vision, values, a team, goals, strategies, and results. But what's at the center of it? An excellent leader. Now, if I go further than this, I'd like for you to do something. I'm not just talking to the most senior people in the room. Remember, you can be a leader if you have 2 people working for you, 3 people, or 5,000 people. So think about the position that you hold, your leadership position, and how this relates to your position. Let's start out with a vision. The excellent leader's role. The vision is the dream. The vision is when you lay your head on your pillow at night and you can't go to sleep and you're thinking about, where do I want to take my company to? Where do I want to take my department to? Where do I want to take these 3 people to that I lead? So for example, we're going to be, our organization will be, our university will be the premier, the Leadership Development Institute will be. You can fill in the blanks, whatever applies to you. Establish a grand vision. Do not limit yourself. Remember, this is your dream. This is not where you're trying to be next week. This is not where you're trying to be next month. This is the long term that you're ultimately trying to reach. So again, as an excellent leader, in my opinion, you have the responsibility of establishing that vision. Let's talk about the values. The excellent leader also has the responsibility of establishing the values of your organization. And again, this can be a 3-member organization or a 5,000-member organization. So what are values? When I talk about values, I'm talking about the culture, how your organization is going to behave, what are the rules you're going to guide your organization by, what are you going to put first when you're running your organization. Now, when you establish these values, you have to be careful because you can't compromise them. If you establish a set of values that say we're going to behave this way, and then your organization observes you doing something opposite, now all of a sudden you've just lost the trust and the respect of your organization. At the same time, if you have team members who are complying with your values, you have to have a dialogue with them. Because again, your organization will say, well, I thought our values were these, but I see actions like this going on. So again, establishing those values is very important that you comply with them. Lead by demonstrating your values. Next, I think the next role of an excellent leader is to establish a team. I will be the first to say the things being accomplished at my company have very little to do with Darron Anderson. I got to be the visionary, I got to establish the values, but I needed a team. We have over 2,000 employees working for us. I can't touch every one of them every day. I need a strong team working with me. Now, the responsibility of the excellent leader, again, is to select the right team members, to ensure there's effective communication amongst the team, to make sure that the team understands what the vision and what the values are. The next element, goals. Now, before I said the excellent leader was responsible. Okay? Responsible for the vision, the values, assembling the team. Now I'm moving to a different category, and I'm using the word facilitator. Okay? Because as your team is setting goals that you're going to hold yourself accountable for, you want those to be team goals. If I said, Ms. Rupert, you're on my team, I apologize, Dr. Rupert, you're on my team, and here are your goals, then all of a sudden, I'm really just giving her my goals. And if she can accomplish them, she may come back and say, well, I would have never set the goal that way in the first place. If we do it in a collaborative effort, and we both agree on the goals, we've locked arms to go execute on those goals. So there's a distinct difference between being a facilitator, establishing goals, versus being the person responsible and telling the team, here are your goals. Goals should be quantifiable, and they should be measurable. In addition, goals should be set high. They should be realistic, but they should be set high. If your vision is in the future, and it's something that's out there that you're trying to accomplish, but you establish goals this low, it will take you a long time to achieve your vision. If you establish goals high, you're constantly pushing your team to excel and to achieve at a higher level, which will allow you to reach your vision much sooner. Strategies. Again, the excellent leader is not responsible for setting strategies, but the facilitator in setting strategies with his or her team. The team should identify strategies that would help them accomplish the goals of their strategic plan. Now, when we get to the practical side, you're going to see a lot of strategies come about. Unfortunately, you can't accomplish everything overnight. I always tell my team, this is a marathon race, not a short sprint race. And what I mean by that is, when we tackle our strategies, we have to prioritize. We cannot do everything. So we look for ways to strategize the ones that's going to bring us the immediate opportunities first. I use the term quick wins. I apologize for using a term like that. What I mean by that is identifying strategies that you can get done immediately and have some early success. So your team starts to know what success feels like. Next, results. Key leadership role, the excellent leader, is to monitor the results. The excellent leader can't be the one out executing every strategy every day. It's physically impossible depending on the number of people you have. But an excellent leader can have systems that give him or her the feedback, the results of how the strategies are being executed, to get the report card on how the strategies are being executed. I think it's very important that the results, the metrics, the KPIs are quantifiable as well. And when you achieve them, you're having success, it's okay to celebrate and to reward them. Now, I apologize, I'm just moving too many things around here. Now, rewards don't always have to be monetary rewards. Sometimes a reward can be just as simple as, thank you for a job well done. That motivates people more than you know. Now, don't get me wrong, monetary awards are good, Mr. President. But they're not always possible, okay? If you're not having success in seeing it in your KPIs and your metrics, you may have to go back and look at the previous elements. What are we missing here? Are we failing with our team? Do we not communicate? Have we selected the wrong strategy? Is our goal not applicable anymore? You have to constantly be going back. This is not a static one-time move. It's a continuous movement back and forth. Now, I could end my presentation right now and say good luck, thank you. That wouldn't be fair to you. I told you that I wanted to share with you how I've applied these in my company. So again, I know I'm going to go over time and I will try to move faster, but let's take a look at that. I moved into the CEO role of my company into leadership position at this company was a U.S. economy that was in the midst of a financial crisis. Banks were going out of business left and right. As a result of the U.S. financial crisis, the oil and gas industry was spiraling downward. And when the oil and gas industry spirals downward, my company that does work around drilling rig sites and helps the oil companies get oil and gas out of the ground are not needed. As a result of that, the company was spiraling into a Chapter 11 bankruptcy process. So overnight, I inherited a horrible economy, a horrible industry, a company about to file bankruptcy, and on top of that, 1,200 employees that had never had any real leadership by the previous management team. I always turn around backwards and show people the back of my head. And I say that I had a full head of hair before 2009. She shakes her head. That is no more. So let's talk about Express. What was my vision for Express when I took over the leadership role? Remember, an excellent leader, part of his job is to establish that vision, okay? So my vision was to take a company from bankruptcy to $1 billion valuation in 5 years. That was the goal that I set. Now I had competitors out there, other companies that we competed against for work saying, Express is going out of business. Telling our employees, come work for us. They're not going to be able to survive. I had internal management members saying, we're not going to be able to survive. Okay? But I had a vision of where the company, where I wanted to take the company that was totally different than anyone else thought. Next, the values. One of the responsibilities is the values. Okay? Ours are very simple. Safety, people, integrity, responsibility, and excellence. We call them our SPIRE values. If you go to any one of our 2,000 members of our organization and ask them what SPIRE is today, they can tell you. We put the safety of our employees first. We can buy all the equipment we want to, but we can't operate it without good people. In conducting our business, we're going to be honest and fair to our customers, to our coworkers, to our managers, to our supervisors, and everyone else. We're going to take responsibility for our actions, the communities that we work in, the environment that we participate in, and we're going to be excellent at doing our job. I don't care if you're coming in as an entry-level employee or if you're coming in as a new purchasing agent, or you're coming in as my new chief financial officer. When you come to work for Express, we want you to do your job excellent. So these are the values of our organization. So now we've got the vision, bankruptcy to $1 billion. We've got the values, safety, people, integrity, responsibility, and excellence. And now to formulate the team. I assembled a team of high-quality leaders who believed in my vision and were aligned with my stated values. If you see my direct reports on this slide, two things. None of them look like me, and they're all older than me. Okay? So there's no preconceived notion on who can be a leader. When I sat down to interview people, I communicated my vision. Express Energy Services, we're sitting in a bankruptcy. And I'm sure you're questioning, should you join our company? But we're not going to stay in bankruptcy. In fact, we're going to take this company to $1 billion. And when we conduct our business, we're going to do it with safety, people, integrity, responsibility, and excellence. And we're going to win. Do you want to join this team? I looked for people who believed in the vision, who understood the values, and wanted to join Express. Now, they didn't have to all have the same background as me, the same training I've had, but we had to have a common vision and value system. Those are the type of team members that we brought on board. Next, goals. Setting the team goals. I didn't tell the team, here are our goals. Once my team is assembled, I asked them, if we're going to be a $1 billion company in 5 years, what does our company look like? And we had a brainstorming session. Well, we're going to have to be, revenue of at least $1 billion, profit margins of 30%, safety incident rate less than 0.5. We chose goals that were lofty, but we knew if we would achieve those goals, we would reach our ultimate vision. But now we have to turn those goals into strategies. Okay? So then I asked my team in a facilitated process, what must we do to reach this goal? So for example, if we want to get to a safety incident rate of 0.5 or less, we need to put in a safety management system. Put in a real system to improve our safety. If we wanted to get to $1 billion in revenue, we need to organically grow the company, invest back into the business, make acquisitions. All of the goals led to a lot of strategies. I've listed some, but there's probably 20 additional strategies I didn't list. My point here is that you come up with a lot of strategies, and we have to prioritize. And finally, the results. We continuously monitor our results. Some we monitor weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually. Again, I can stop my presentation and say, thank you, but I think you want to see the results. So again, vision, bankruptcy to $1 billion, goals, $1 billion revenue, 30% profit margins, safety incident rate of 0.5 or less, employee retention of 90%, world-class employees and managers, and preferred service provider and industry leader. For the goal of safety incident rate less than 0.5, the strategy that we used was to implement a safety management system. I won't go into details because it's a very detailed system. What I'll say is one element of that system that is very key to our success is what we call our observation card program, where we ask our employees, what are we doing wrong? Where are we not being safe? How can we improve? And all we ask our employees to do is fill out a card very briefly and tell us how we can improve. The first month we kicked off that program with 1,300 employees, we got 18 cards. Not very many cards. As we continue to communicate, dialogue, emphasize, we sit here in January of 2013, and as of January 2013, we had received 84,150 cards from our employees. 84,000 times our employees sat down to tell our company how we could get better. It's management's responsibility to listen, that two-way communication, and then to react. Now, we always can't fix everything, but we bring closure with our employees. What has the result been? These are our safety results. I won't go into technicality, but what the graph basically shows that in the last 3 years, we've had a 45% reduction in our number of safety incidents. We are stopping people from getting hurt because of the systems and the strategies that we put in place. Next, the goal of world-class employees and managers. Retention of 90% of them. How are we going to do it? One of the key elements of our strategy was to have a dedicated training and employee development center. We opened up what's called our Express University. Every new employee that is hired at our company comes to Houston, Texas. We operate across the entire United States. It's a significant cost to bring every new employee to Houston by train, plane, whatever mechanism, to house them for 2 weeks. But it's important to us because we give them skills training. We give them safety training. They get to meet me or one of my other senior team members. We go talk to them. We talk about the values of working for this organization. What we would like you to be doing working for this organization. We talk about the growth opportunities. When you look at our employee retention, we've gone from almost a 50% turnover rate, losing half of our employees, almost a 50% turnover rate, down to about 32% at the end of last year. As we sit here today, we're running about a 23%. So again, the trend, the success of the strategy is measured. The results are showing the success. Preferred service provider and industry leader. How do we do that? That's one of our goals. Strategic account management. We had to change the way we focus on our customers. In the old Express, we tried to go work for everyone. In the new Express, we're selective who we go to work for. People who can provide us the highest value, people who match our core values, who believe in safety and training and are willing to pay us for that. We have a select target group of customers that we wanted to penetrate because we knew we could have success with them. At the same time, and I know you can't see these slides, it's really the message. At the same time, we started a new R&D program to develop technology to get ahead of our competition. In working with a new select customer base, finding out what their needs were, and then coming back from a technology standpoint with the solutions to help them solve their problems. What is the result of that? We measure it through our major customer revenue growth. We look at customers that we want to work for. The major U.S. oil and gas companies, Shell, BHP, Exxon, Statoil, all of these listed here. This graph basically says, from the target customers that we want, we have improved our revenue with them 96% year over year. So Shell went from 10 million 1 year to 20 million to 48 million. Almost 100% increase in every year. And finally, the goal of greater than $1 billion, profit margins of 30%, our strategies, was to grow organically through acquisitions and focus on our core. We've invested over $178 million into our assets, infrastructure, and systems over the last 3 years. We're investing money back into the business organically to grow it, one of the key elements of our strategy. In addition, we sold off 5 businesses that were non-core. Sometimes you have to look at your organization and ask yourself, what do we do well and what do we not do well? If we can focus our time on doing what we do well, we can get better and be a leader. Well, that means you may have to release some things you don't do well. We released 5 things we didn't do well to focus on things that we did do well. We purchased 2 companies who were also focused on the things that we do well. And we've remained committed to our vision and discipline with our core values. Basically, we've executed our strategic plan. Now, we are a for-profit business, and that is the ultimate measure. But our safety performance, our employee retention, all of that feeds the numbers and is a key element to our performance. But if we look at the actual performance, from a revenue standpoint, we're growing our revenue at the top line by 36% per year. The slide should actually start in 2009, when the company did about $199 million to $222 million to $339 to $410, and this year we'll do well over $500 million in revenue. From a profitability standpoint, from $36 million to $73 to $81 to well over $120 million this year. So again, we are a for-profit company, and this is one of our ultimate metrics. So I will end where I began. Who is Darron Anderson? I gave you my bio, 22 years, engineer, University of Texas, married, little brother of Dr. Rupert. At the end of the day, I'm no one extraordinary. I don't have several degrees. I did not come from wealth, okay? I was just an ordinary engineer. But what I was blessed with was the passion to lead people, to be an effective communicator, to want to listen to people, to lead by example, earn their respect. And that's who Darron Anderson is. So thank you, and I will be glad to No questions?
I want to thank you for this brilliant presentation, but also for the example of success achieved through honesty, perseverance, and believing what you do and the passion you bring with it. These are just a couple of token souvenirs from the university that we'd like you to take with you. They will help carry the most important documents. This is right leather.
Thank you very much.
And this is another sample of the university that